You're welcome to another exciting episode of the Olah Show, and today we're going to be addressing issues surrounding the 5G technology. I know we've seen a lot of videos, we've heard a lot of things about the 5G technology, and now we have two people that are well grounded in that field to shed more light on this technology. And so our first guest today is engineer Emeka Okaekwu, all the way from Canada. He is a telecommunications expert and he's also an expert in the regulatory matters. We also have the CEO of the Pan-African Towers, Mr. Wole Abu, all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome, Mr. Wole.
Thank you, Ola.
Okay. And he's going to be explaining a whole lot because I'm sure you all have seen the footages about the MTN 5G technology and the 5G network and all of that. And so we're going to be addressing all of that today. So my first question goes to Engineer Emeka. What exactly is the 5G technology?
Okay, so 5G, as you would have heard, is the fifth generation technology. Again, it's one of the next generation. It is the next generation of mobile standards that promises to deliver improved user experience. And how is it going to do that? By offering new applications and services through gigabit speeds and improved performance and reliability. So basically, what that means is it's going to leverage on what the previous technology has done, which is the fourth generation technology, 4G. So it's an evolution from that one, the 4G, to the fifth one. So in a nutshell, what that means is, if you remember, some odd 20 years ago, we started with the 1G, which is just the depth phones, like but it has limitations. It had limitations of mobility, okay? And then we had need to communicate more, and then we evolved into the second generation, which is GSM, right? And then the 2G, as you know, had limitations. It was voice and text messaging, and then we added some capabilities to it, which is 2.5G. And then we had GPRS, and then we have the Edge, which is 2.75. Again, we had need more. We went to the third generation, the UMTS, 3G, okay? And then it still had limitations. People wanted to do things like video conferencing and all of this, and because of the data limitations and internet, the advent of the internet, there was need for us to continue to evolve, right? And that's how we got to the last technology, which is 4G. Again, there was 3.5, there was 3.75, which not many people know about it, but it's there. And then we had 4G, which is LTE. And then now, because of the needs, there are use cases for this. That's why we are going into the fifth generation technology.
Okay, great. So, Mr. Wole, what exactly are the components of the 5G technology? Is it okay to call it 5G network or 5G technology?
It's just a standard, really, in computing. What's happening, the way you look at 5G is a system. It's not one thing. It is the entire ecosystem of communication. So you've got, for example, you need to have a 5G capable handset to interact with a 5G network, for example. So chipsets are getting faster and better and cheaper. So that's one aspect of it. Then you've to have the transmission, which is fiber optic cable. And fiber optic cable is available and it's been, so the pictures you see, for example, that people say they're installing 5G, it's actually laying of fiber optic cable, which is used even for 3G. It's light that is inside. That's where the optic in fiber optic comes from. There's nothing, it's not a radio wave. So then you now have the antenna system itself, which is a 5G antenna. Basically, what the 5G is going to help us do is connect more people and more devices. So you can, in a kilometer radius, if today I think 4G maybe can connect thousands of people. You will have 5G being able to connect hundreds of thousands of people, maybe even up to 1 million people. And things, that's where you hear the Internet of Things. Today, the internet as we know it is the internet of people, people talking to people, people pinging each other, sharing photos with each other and co. However, because machine learning has advanced also to the level where you can put a chip in a car and it can send a message of its position, it also needs to communicate. You also have smart homes now where you can put a camera in your home and you can see what's happening in your home from where you work. That also requires some communication. You also have biomedicine that has advanced where people can carry out operations using robotics and have surgeons from different parts of the world collaborate in engineering the way that robots will move. You don't need to make a mistake. You know how important those type of surgeries are.
Haven't people been able to achieve that with the 4G technology?
Okay. I say 4G has its own limits. It has its own challenges with latency. So for us to start discussing 5G, I think I'd like to step back a bit and just lay the foundation of the physics behind radio waves. Okay. That way, it's easy because I think when we jump into 5G and start talking, we're assuming that everybody understands that telecommunication is riding on what they call the electromagnetic spectrum. The electromagnetic spectrum, if you look at it like a map, okay, or like a timeline from left to right, the lowest part is radio waves. You've got microwaves, you've got natural light, which is sunlight and all that. You've got X and you've got gamma rays at the end. Now, they are different in the sense of the kind of energy they have, the radiation that they have, the power that they have, the frequencies, and the wavelength. So these are the small things, this elementary physics. Any secondary school student has that in his textbook. That's the fundamental. The part of the spectrum that is used for telecommunications is mid part. Now, 5G, which is at a higher frequency, if you want to use the millimeter wave, has the power to take in much more data, which is the use case we've used to explain now, to use it for medicine, for robotics, for whatever you can imagine. Speed is the important thing. Everything travels at the speed of light. Today, because of latency and transmission errors and little things like that, you may have a delay. If you're talking, like as we're talking now, you notice that sometimes you say something, I have to pause, and all that. In a 5G era, you can actually have a hologram. You can actually be right in front of me.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that.
Everything about you, which is a picture, can be digitized, compressed, and sent via a good transmission device like fiber optic, and you'll be sitting right in front of me. I won't be seeing your picture. I'll be seeing a replica, so to speak, of you. So these are the possibilities that 5G. Now, it may not make sense to you now, but imagine you having this interview, and instead of trying to have a virtual interview where you're just seeing two-dimensional images, you actually can see a three-dimensional image. Science has created a 3D printer. Science has advanced in so many areas that the kind of communication needed today also needs to advance to catch up. There are areas in medicine that were not existing years ago. But because of advancement in communication, they're able to see things better. You can use apps now. If you have a normal phone now, just a normal phone has health applications.
I'm sure the major concern a lot of people have with the 5G technology is in line with the health issues. So what are the health challenges aligned with this 5G technology?
So Ola, when it comes to health challenges, again, like Mr. Wale has said earlier, in the first of all, there is a body that establishes the guideline for limit of exposure for radio frequency waves, and again, the 5G spectrum is within this this band from 100 kilohertz of to 300 gigahertz range. The 5G spectrum, and I have to say this, the 5G spectrum, it is not just only on the millimeter wave section. Okay, we have 5G spectrum also in the not so lower range, in the UFH range of 700, 600 megahertz, right? Which 4G is using right now. Okay, because when we talk about high frequency, all of these frequencies are high. Okay, so you have 5G frequencies in the 600, 700 megahertz range. You have 5G frequencies in the microwave range, starting from the 3 gigahertz range and up to the millimeter wave side, which is about somewhere around 70, 80 gigahertz range. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is the international the body that's that actually establishes the guideline is called the International Commission on Non-Ionizing Radiation Protection. So they publish this guideline to say there are exposure limits, okay, and each country takes care of, makes sure that that the radiation that is being emitted by these devices are under control according to those guidelines. So as you know, even last week, UK did some tests on 5G to carry out measurements and on the actual 5G sites, like bring the probe directly to the antenna and measure the radiation, and then as you go away from the antenna, then you have decreased level of emission. So, and according to the document that I read by Ofcom, by the way, is the national regulator in the UK for telecommunication services, and there was a report on that, and they said it was about 0.03% or so of the maximum exposure. So basically, there is not much of a hazard. The hazard that exists still exists, whether it's 2G, whether it's 3G, whether it's 4G, it's still there. And again, there is not much hazard. There is no empirical evidence that suggests that there is a risk of that we are running by putting in 5G sites. Again, I will tell you now.
Okay, so but with the things I've read online, we're hearing that they're going to have to put masts, not necessarily masts, but they're going to have to put some tiny mast in.
Yes. So, yeah, small cells.
Small cells in houses. So how is that not going to be dangerous to the human health?
Again, that's what I wanted to talk about. Again, those cells are low power devices. They are low power sites. They are not like your macro sites, right? That operate on a higher power. Some of those sites will be operating on even the same power level, like your Wi-Fi that you have. People are not even worried about their Wi-Fi. You have Wi-Fi at home, everywhere, in hotspots, in the airports, on the aeroplane, in everywhere, in your homes. The exposure that you get from your Wi-Fi device is even more or closer to what you're getting from the 5G small cell sites. And what about your cell phone? Okay. What about your cell phone? Okay. Right? So again, I am telling you now, based on empirical evidence, based on practice, on research, and even practical tests. I personally have done, not on 5G, but I have been involved in practical measurements of, in measuring some of these emissions. Okay, so every country has its national body that makes sure that they regulate these emission to make sure.
Fantastic. You just made a major point now, Emeka. Mr. Wole, he just said that every country has a regulatory body that is able to control all of this. Do we have that in Nigeria?
Of course.
And how effective is that?
The NCC regulates everything that has to do with communication.
Okay.
And they have people who check all this out. In fact, you cannot bring in an antenna or a telecom device, a telephone, into the country if it does not meet type approval. Type approval basically means that it will meet all the guidelines set by everybody. There are several bodies. ICNIP, as I mentioned, is one. The ITU, the GSMA, they are all
TSI.
parts. They all.
Yep.
So they've got a whole plethora of bodies that have guidelines, including locally the NCC guidelines too for devices, for antennas and all that. You have to submit a physical sample of that device. It will be checked and tested before you can even import it. In fact, the NSA, which is the Nigerian Security Advisor, will also have to approve it because it's not just medical health, it's not just for transmission. They also have to check for security. There are so many concerns around communications. We're on the health aspect of it now, but there are also security concerns. As you know, there are certain countries who will say, I'm not going to buy this device from you because I don't trust your country. I don't trust what you are bringing in. On the health side, as Emeka mentioned, there are longitudinal studies that have been carried out over the years from the very first time that GSM started. Because just when GSM was being launched, people also said, oh, this will be carcinogenic, it will be causing cancer.
So, Mr. Wole,
and
are you saying that there has been proper research carried out about the 5G technology concerning the human health?
Hold on, it's 5G, like I mentioned to you, and you need to also understand, Ola, 5G is a system. There's nothing like 5G technology that is new. It is not new. It has been there since God made Earth. Okay. It is a radio wave. These waves that you are using, they exist. They're around you, even if you had a phone or not. They were just discovered by human beings. Okay? That's why I'm telling you that first and foremost, you are surrounded by radio waves. It's a part of the Earth. Nobody invented radio waves. Okay? It's a physical property of life. Like the sunlight that bathes you every day, it is a wave. And if you are exposed to the sun, every day you are exposed to these same waves that you're worried about. That's the first thing you need to realize. So 5G, somebody is just transmitting. What has been is my voice that is going through that wave. It is not a physical property, so it's not going to kill you. It does not penetrate the skin. It's just like light. If you close your eyes and I shine my torchlight on your face, you will not see. It cannot penetrate you. The light, the waves that can penetrate you are the X-rays and gamma rays. Okay, these ones, they have low energy. They cannot penetrate you. So even if you call it 2000 G, it doesn't mean it has become suddenly more powerful.
So here's the thing that has also been on the minds of people. That is the widespread of the coronavirus in line with the 5G technology. I mean, a lot of people are saying the 5G is the reason for the coronavirus, for the widespread of the coronavirus. We've heard it from pastors, we've heard it from engineers, we've heard it from people across the world, even our politicians. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a new video out. There's going to be a new music video out about the coronavirus where the senator said that he's okay with the 4G, he doesn't need the 5G. So Is it just a mere coincidence that there is a widespread of the coronavirus and then there's a 5G technology?
Let me explain something. The study of physics, okay? The physics is the study of space, energy, time, and matter, okay? That's what's called physics. Chemistry is the study of atoms, molecules, and all that, okay? Biology is the study of organisms, and which are made up of complex atoms and co. Now, they meet somewhere, but there are certain basic things about each of these core sciences. So, for example, you can tell if they take your cell, if they scrape a cell from your body today or take your hair, they can tell that this is Olah from your DNA. That's your smallest, that's your unique feature. They can, if they take a skin sample or sweat or anything from any human being, they can tell that human being, we're all unique. We have unique DNAs, okay? The coronavirus is a unique organism. It is not a mutation of an earlier virus. It is not from a human body. It is a living, different being on its own. That's why it's called novel coronavirus. It's new. It's just been discovered. Okay. There are certain strains of coronaviruses that have been existing since. Your common cold is a coronavirus. Corona is just a term for a body of viruses that exist. There are certain viruses called zoonotic viruses that can go from animals to humans. For example, avian flu, if there's an outbreak of avian flu, you see people in hazmat material to go and kill those birds because it is possible that it can cross to human beings. This particular type of coronavirus, the new one we're seeing now, which is SARS-CoV-2, has been in bats and pangolins, and probably because of the exotic tastes of certain people in China, crossed into a human, and it has been isolated.
Let's pick you up on that. We've heard so much about it being in bats and all of that, but we also know that the Chinese are known for eating a lot of exotic animals. And so it's not today that they started eating the bats. Why is it now that there is a widespread of the COVID-19 and then there's also the 5G technology being launched? I mean, that is a question in the minds of a lot of people. Everybody is saying, okay, fine, we know that these guys eat all sorts of animals. Why is it now that this is happening? We also saw a video where some Chinese threw down a mast and all of that, saying it's the 5G network that is causing the widespread of the virus. So it's a bit difficult for the layman to really get to understand and believe that it's not.
Let's first establish, one, coronavirus is a virus. Just first get that clear. There's no argument in any place that it's a new thing, okay? Second, there is 5G, yes, in Wuhan, China. There's 5G in almost every major city in China. There's 5G in Korea. There's 5G in Lesotho, Africa. There's 5G. So if if you have a car accident somewhere in Wuhan now, you can also link it to or the outbreak of chickenpox somewhere can be linked to 5G. They are not correlated at all. And if you can also check, in Lesotho, there's not a single case of coronavirus.
Wait, hold on. Before you even say what you're going to say. So one of the things we've also heard is that the lockdown is so that they could lay 5G cables and take over the world at some point.
Let me talk to you, okay?
Yeah. We don't have to say that in 30 seconds because we need to wrap up.
Oh my God. Yeah. There is no correlation between I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not I'm not in the biological field, but there is no relationship between laying fiber and the coronavirus. Fiber optic cable has been existing. It is needed because of the high capacity of transmission. You don't have to. We use fiber optic in 2G, in 3G, in 4G. I've used it personally. Okay, there is no correlation. And again, I'm saying to you, 5G is an enhancement from 4G. If you are using 4G now, I can tell you, you are already as well using 5G. There is no difference. The difference in them is just in the speed, in the data rates, in the capacity. Just like when you drive, if you're in Toronto, in Canada, you can be driving in an 18-lane highway. That's the capacity. It takes a lot of cars versus driving in a 2-lane highway. It takes so much. So there is no relationship between 5G technology or system to coronavirus. Laying fiber optics has nothing to do with it. I've laid fiber optic before 5G.
Okay, and that's why we have both of you on the show to come shed some more light on this. Quickly, Mr. Wole, what does 5G mean for Nigeria?
I think 5G is an opportunity for us to fix a lot of our public health issues, a lot of our e-governance issues, and a lot of our educational issues. It is the fourth industrial revolution. 4G is only 17% coverage of Nigeria. So I can tell you for free, 5G is not here in any commercial use at all. Fear, however, is born out of ignorance, sometimes from mischief makers. And that's what we need to watch out for. There's nothing wrong with what we're doing in terms of 5G. 5G is radio wave. It has always been there. It will always be there. Whether you know it or not, it's there around you every day.
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. In one sentence, what is the future? One sentence. Mr. Emeka, what's the future?
It will continue to evolve. We need it. It's going to create jobs. It's going to create opportunities for everyone, and I am for it.
Okay, great. Mr. Wole.
The global village will become a global living room. That's what the future is going to be.
All right, great. Thank you so much for your time. It's been the Olah Show. Till next week. Bye for now.